I've been designing ponds for 33 years. I've been involved in thousands of projects around the world, but I'm heading to England to tackle one of the most complicated projects I've ever been involved with. This is Mark Marshall. He's one of the largest landscapers on social media. He's been traveling the world assisting our construction team on a wide variety of really incredible projects. When we heard he was designing and building his own backyard pond, we knew we had to help, especially since he was in a world of trouble. He was in really, really deep. So Brian and I packed up, headed over to England to help him out.
So the reason I invited you over, Ed, I think this is going to be the most technical pond in Britain. No way on earth I would have been able to attempt it without you. Mainly because of that window that we're going to put in.
Yep.
Ed gave me a design of kind of how he wanted the structure of the window to be, which wasn't the one that I intended to do. We was going to drill through that clear cast acrylic in the window, but what Ed was saying, like, he would prefer not to do that. So we've cast it as one piece now. And then we've spoke about a design where you said clamping the two.
Clamping.
Clamping that in. Started the process of that, but it would be cool a little bit later in the video for you to come and see how it's being made and see if it's kind of what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
But yeah, this whole thing has been inspired by the film Free Willy, believe it or not, because
that's awesome.
As a kid, I was obsessed with when Jesse breaks in and sees Willy in that big screen.
Yeah.
It hit my chest, and I've wanted to try and recreate that all my life. Problem is, trying to build an underground place, cinema with a viewing window into that pond, it was just too technical. And the next best option was that curved glass.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why I wanted your scientific brain on it to help
Brian
us.
Brian and I are both here to help.
Yeah.
The artistry, the science, the technology, the engineering, the art, the math, all these different things that have come together. And on top of it, you have tons of groundwater coming up.
What? Really?
Yeah, like tons.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but you could actually heave up the entire water feature. I know you started putting in some of that drainage underneath, and we're going to add more to it because we got to make sure all that stuff stays away.
Yeah.
And it's all in it's a tight space, so when this is done, it's going to be insane.
Oh.
But we have 5 days to pull this off.
If anyone can do it,
we got to get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Wish us luck in the comments.
Oh, this is the best morning ever. Like the best morning of the trip so far.
Best morning of my life. Ed's just saved me a lot of money because you come up with another idea to seal this.
I think so. I mean, well, you did. Who did the measuring and gave the nice job?
The company that made this ATL,
Yeah.
they kept saying, do you want a template? And me, classic Mark Marshall, no, we don't need a template. And they went, no, it's very expensive. You probably do need a template. So we trimmed it.
Okay.
And sent it out to them. They've actually cut it too because the perimeter of the wall, whoever made it, I don't know who made it, but they've not made it perfect.
I don't know.
So that has got a slight more curve on it than this one, and they put it so it fits in almost perfect.
It looks
really
it's
good.
about perfect. The winning piece was the curve, just because of the way the pressure is going to push on this thing.
Yeah.
With this arch, all the water pressure is going to go in. It's just going to force the weight into here. So if we get that sealant in between, it's just going to get better and better.
So we couldn't have done this if it was a straight window.
No.
And there just wouldn't have been enough water, but
Not enough
because
pressure
of the
to hold.
curve.
Yeah.
Well, at least we don't need to do 3 more trips with this.
No. Yeah, no, that's huge.
We knew it was a success too. We did.
Let's go!
All right, Jonathan. Fiberglass went in really, really good.
Yeah, it was.
So what are your thoughts right now? We just got that acrylic in place. We had some gaps in there, and we're trying to manipulate it, but we're also trying to get that CT1 in there. I mean, you okay with having a little bit of a gap in there? I mean, it seems good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. It's, well, like you say, there was a couple of little issues just to try and get in, but yeah, we managed to get those out. Happy with it.
Excellent.
Importantly, it's given us that little bit of expansion.
Yeah,
as well, so.
exactly. You saw it as well. There were some air pockets in there. Those are a little bit stressful, so come on down over here. If you see inside of here, you're gonna see that black and you see that white. That means there's no bond right in between there, and we have a few of those areas. So I mean, we've tried multiple things. I think we got a bunch of them out, but I don't think we could really do anything else unless you think we could try to work some of that material in there and then cut it away.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're working it in,
Yeah.
I think it's purely for aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty confident that the seal's strong and whatnot. So yeah, we could work it in a little bit, but yeah, it's for aesthetics.
The odds
only.
of getting a bubble out of there are going to be impossible because it's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, putting it in as the pressure's just too great. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel good with it. All right, this is a great moment. We are picking out some of the character stone for his project. So we're backing in. We got to get a couple stepping stones as well as some accent pieces for this amazing project. All right, here's the quarry that we're getting all of our rock out of. So look at this, absolutely beautiful pieces. We're looking for some of these bigger blocky ones, but you can see a lot of this little stuff kind of breaks off just because of all these horizontal layers that they have in here. So this is a sedimentary stone. So it gets laid down over many, many years in layers, and you can get different seams of different types of material in between, which actually create softer spots where they actually fracture and break into these big blocky pieces. We're getting ready to seal up the liner up against the concrete structure that's actually holding that incredible window in place. Fingers crossed, it's looking good. Everything looks fantastic, but I just uncovered this bottom area. So remember day one when we were here, this was deep peat. Just a thick, nasty, high organic material. This area is known for peat production. So the subsoil here is just loaded with it. That organic material, terrible for building stuff, incredible for plants. They're gonna love it. So you have all types of nutrients inside of that soil, nice high moisture level. Plants are gonna go crazy, but from a structural standpoint, from an engineering standpoint, it's the last thing we wanna have in here. Coming in, driving in and out of here with that heavy equipment, we just kept burying the machine. And I was concerned because we had to place many, many tons of rock on top of here. So we need a solid structure to work off of. We ended up ripping all that soil out, came in with our geotextile, which is a soil separator. Then we started dumping our 20 mil crushed rock on top of that to create a bed. It's almost like a water bed. It's actually floating. We came in with a thick, thick layer of it. Then we came with another layer of the geotextile over the top to sandwich it in between. So this geotextile material, extremely tough and durable. It is used on incredible engineering projects around the world for soil stabilization. This stuff does not stretch. So it's gonna spread everything out. It has a really high tensile strength. We've been driving on top of it now for the past 3 days. This has not moved, and I wanted to see what it looked like underneath. And as you can see, it's a little damp. There's water inside of here, but it's solid. So the window looks really, really, really good. So I'm very happy with it. The ultimate test though is gonna be water coming in here. So we got water coming in after dark. That's gonna put this ultimately under the test. We're gonna have all of that water pressure. We're gonna have 8,000 gallons, over 30,000 liters of water, tens of thousands of pounds going against this thing, which is gonna be an unbelievable amount of pressure. Thankfully, the material that we used in between, the CT1 material, it's more of a mastic, so it stays a little bit soft and gooey. So when we put this under compression, it's gonna really tighten that stuff up. Again, we're working with physics here, working with this curved piece. It's gonna transfer that load to the outside walls. This is not gonna wanna buckle. It's gonna take all that weight and it's gonna push it to the edges, which is exactly where we want it to go because it's gonna help seal that even further. Down here at the bottom, this looks really, really clean. So not only did we get that sealant on the bottom, but we came over the top of that with a 1-inch wide strip, and that looks absolutely beautiful. We're bonded to the fiberglass on both sides, inside and outside. So our next step after this, now that this is good, this is curing as we speak, groundwater's starting to come up a little bit underneath me. I can feel it getting a little spongy, and that's because we don't have any weight on top of here. If we did not fill this with water soon, this is gonna start to rise up. We need the positive pressure of all the weight of that water on top to push against this and push against the water underneath and force it into those drains. So again, there's a lot of crazy forces that are happening right here. Next thing that we're gonna get ready to do, Brian's repositioning the machine for the wetland filter. You've heard me talk about this before. If you're not familiar with it, it's a large biological filter. It's an upflow biological filter. It's gonna be located right in front of the deck area. So we're gonna have this beautiful flowing water coming up through a layer of gravel, which actually kind of mimics the springs of central and southern Florida. If you're familiar with that area, we have high groundwater, rises up through all of the nooks and crannies and crevices of the karst geology. But that area, very rich in limestone, as that water rises up through the different layers of rock and gravel, it actually cleanses the water. It's some of the most pristine waters I've ever gone snorkeling in my entire life. It actually looks like you're swimming in air when you're in that area. But it's all the biological activity that's happening inside of that groundlet, as well as the mechanical filtration of all the rock and gravel. That's what we're gonna mimic here. It's gonna create a really cool effect. It's gonna be great for Mark, for Tina, for their dogs to kind of splash around, relax as they transition into the deeper water and then move their way over to this amazing she shed over on the other side. Couldn't be happier with this outcome. It was a logistical challenge, but the artistry of all of this just pops. It looks unbelievable. Mark and Tina are thrilled with the results, and we are as well. That's when we know it's actually a successful project. We definitely had our challenges in front of us with that heavy groundwater from underneath, and then that massive push of water on that viewing window. I was concerned all the way back to Chicago because I didn't see water actually in it, but now it's full of water. The fish are enjoying the water feature, and it just looks spectacular. Every little detail has been addressed, and the view of this is just incredible. Mark and his family are going to be enjoying this feature for years to come.